Hello, and welcome to our very first Detox interview episode / long form, whatever you want to call it. It's Detox. We got a guest. Levi, why don't you take it away?
Hey guys, so Levi Gates, and with me and Dane here. Anthony had to run downstairs to talk to a customer while we're doing this, so full disclosure, Anthony will be coming in later. But we've got Jason Barker of Fresh Start Detail Company out of Beaverton, Oregon. Jason's up here for a family wedding and kind of a vacation just to kind of hang out. He's been up many times before to Boise here to hang out and say hi to us. And we met Jason in Seattle at one of the optimization trainings.
Oh, that's right.
And you probably just listened to Jason on the Optimum Synergy podcast last week, or this week, I should say, this episode. So
check that
if you
out.
haven't, check that out too. But welcome, Jason.
Thank you. Thank you, Leviticus.
You're welcome.
Good to see you.
You too, brother.
Handshake.
Yeah, exactly.
So what is up, Boise?
You said it right.
Love it here.
Boise.
Yeah, there's no Z. No
Yeah,
Z.
That's right.
No Z. I had people even say, where are you going this weekend? I said, I'm going over to Idaho. Oh, Boise? I go, no, I never heard of that town.
Yeah, that's
Boise.
Oh,
Boise.
you're that guy.
Boise. It's not Boise.
man.
So you guys went to Sockeye Brewery for dinner last night?
We did, which was outstanding. Yeah.
I used to drink a long time ago.
Don't worry, I make up for you.
Yeah.
What, are you a quitter?
Yeah,
quitter?
I drank all my beers that I was allowed for my whole life. I drank them all in a condensed time period of about 10 months.
Okay.
So I don't get any more.
Yeah.
I'm not allowed to have any more. So
You got a lifetime's worth.
yeah,
Yeah.
I've missed a lot of those months as well. But
Well, good for you, actually. That's
thank
Yes.
you.
very good, yeah.
But Sockeye was one of my favorite beers. The Sockeye Pale Ale was one of my favorite beers back then, before all the new ones that have been coming out and all that fancy stuff.
You're listening to Beercast.
Yeah.
Beercast, yeah.
Well, so, but I remember, like, that's one of the reasons I love Sockeye.
Well, and me being from the Portland area too, we are the mecca of home brew and craft brew,
yeah.
right? Boise does it good, but not quite like Portland. But still, the English barley wine aged in bourbon barrels is what I had last night.
Oh,
was just amazing. I mean, it was really good. So, but the mac and cheese with the salmon on it also.
yeah, the food's amazing there.
Yeah, I was really impressed. Really impressed. So
We take that for granted here in the Northwest, so
yeah, fresh
all that
fish,
good fresh
stuff.
fish, and
That's right.
I know we're landlocked, but
allergic
it's
to
still
fish, so I don't
it's
eat
pretty
fish.
darn close here in Idaho. So
Well, salmon, they still swim this far.
Yeah,
totally. We got rivers.
Yeah, you can get them out of the river. It's no big deal.
Cool.
So what do you
I
guys
do
you're
feel
up here for a wedding?
Yeah, cousin getting married. One of my favorite cousins, man. He's really good.
Even
and he's
better.
my age. He's like 48, and it's his first marriage.
Well, good for
So,
him.
Finally.
He waited for the right one.
Took a while, that's right. So, but to kind of segue into detailing, is this a detail?
Yeah,
Kind of somewhat.
we're also hanging out,
we're
talking.
hanging out. So
But-
I've been fortunate enough to be to my detail business to let me do stuff like this.
Yeah,
Fly my wife and our son down here yesterday on a Thursday, stay till Monday, earned enough money that I can do this sort of thing and enjoy life.
yeah, and I think there are a lot of guys that still get into this, and there are some that, we'll just put it this way, Matt Ward, my guy that took over my shop, there are days where he is still pulling 60 to 80 hour work weeks. And that's just the nature of the beast for him at the moment. But he is aware of that. So, like, he's taking next Friday off and taking his wife up to the mountains. They're going to McCall for the weekend.
Okay.
He's still trying to find time, even though he feels like he's drowning sometimes in the amount of cars he's having to do and the loss of having employees that, because he's needing to hire some more guys. But again, it's just hard getting those guys. But it's good for guys like us and for Matt, the guys that have been in the industry a long time, or like even Brian Prescott. You called Brian to go check out his shop today, and he said, "I'm fishing."
He was fishing. Like, good for you.
There's more and more. There are guys that need to understand, that listen to this, that you need to make that time.
Yeah.
You can't grind all day long,
all the time,
every day.
Yeah.
You know,
and I know some people feel guilty about taking time for themselves, and you really shouldn't. Not if it's, you know, something that you've earned, you've deserved it. It's time.
Yeah.
Take a break.
Yeah.
But
it's not being lazy.
Dane deserves coming in at 10 o'clock every day. He makes sure he comes in at 10.
Wow, right under the bus there.
Yeah.
What you don't know is that Dane is here till 10, 11 o'clock some nights.
Yeah, the last 2 nights I was here till 9:30. So,
yeah. He really does burn the midnight oil here at the store.
Just love that quiet. Just
working on, he waits till everybody's gone, and then he goes in his office and he just works.
Well, now I do like working when no one else is. Sometimes I'd rather come in at 6 in the morning. Sometimes
those odd hours.
I can get some
and that's
more
what I would do.
Detail work until between 6 and 8 than I can 8 and noon. Right?
Yeah.
So
and I was the same way. I loved coming in early because you could knock out a car and get something done in that time period with no distractions, no phone calls every day, people calling. Asking about the business, you know, setting up appointments, things like that.
Yeah.
Because that was always a frustrating thing for me running the shop, was having to be in the zone when you're working on some paint, and then all of a sudden the phone rings and you're like, and then you finish that phone call, you walk back in, and you go to put your headphones in, the phone rings again, you're like, oh my gosh, and you go back out, next thing you know, 30 minutes have passed. Yeah. You've taken 2 or 3 phone calls.
You forgot where you left off on the
call.
call.
You're like,
and even if you get, you know, pulled out of, you know, that focus, that flow you're in, when you come back, it's not the same.
Yeah.
It's not.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're not in the groove. Yeah.
Yeah, you lose it.
But with time off, at least what I found, I think a lot of the reasons people don't is because it's financial.
Yeah.
Right? They're at the grindstone because they're earning money, but we've got obligations. You know, you got a house payment, you got a car payment, you got a girlfriend or a wife, right? Well, none of those things are cheap. So
keep the people fed.
Yeah, you got to keep doing it. You say, well, yeah, great, Jason. You say take a week off. Well, you know, who's going to do this? So I would encourage, especially younger guys, to if you're pulling those 80-hour weeks, we all have, but always be focusing on how can I not have to do this the rest of my life?
Yeah.
How can I change this to where I'm not doing this? Either it's hiring other people, or the best thing is just raising prices.
Yeah.
Keep your prices high enough to where when you are working, you're making bank, and then you can take some time off, and then you're fine.
And save that money.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Put some away. Don't blow it on that weekend.
Yeah. and the time you do spend, be more efficient.
Yes.
Yeah.
Efficiency is huge. Yeah. We were when I first got here talking about efficiency. And Levi, I'd be kind of curious your take on things, because you've been at it 20-something years, right?
Yeah, 20 years.
Me. I'm 22 in, so I got you beat. But
just a little bit.
But think of the things that revolutionized our businesses. And I can tell you, the first big one, and this isn't a paid advertisement, the first big one was Microfiber Towels.
Yep.
When they first came out, at least for me, I was like, what, it's just a rag. Why do you need another rag? Well, look at microfiber now, right? Yep. Okay, so it revolutionized. Now, it took me a while to see the benefits. The other one was foam polishing pads.
Yep.
I used wool only exclusively for a while.
For a long
First couple times I used foam, I go, this is garbage, I can't get it to work. Whatever.
You throw a bonnet over it to make it work sometimes.
on a high speed?
No, but I'm just saying on some of the, because there would be,
You'd get those
random orbitable
defeating the entire purpose
with the exactly.
But they would give you foam backings. You put the foam backing on, and then you'd have to put these.
And you put a cotton
pad
on
bonnet, and then you'd put your polish or your wax, and you try and polish out the final steps.
So you're talking the.
You'd have two different types.
Like this?
Yeah, you had the double handle ones, or you'd have a single palm sander almost.
Those were garbage from there. Yeah. But since you guys can't see this, my back just fired up a little bit on my low back because Levi made this motion holding 2 hands out. If you're not familiar with the old, what do we call them, DAs? Or
they were random orbitable.
They weighed, I think, just shy of 975 pounds.
Some of them were
and to lean that dude over and polish those, I hated that. Yeah. But if you're just waxing a car, you threw some sealant on that dude and ran it over it, and that was fast. But my low back,
it would kill you.
So so just things like that. Yeah, maybe a pneumatic for
you're crossfitting before it was cool.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, it just doesn't show now.
It tear you up.
Those sort of things. So foam pads definitely revolutionized.
Yeah, well, having foam on a rotary made it so that you could, you know, you were able to polish out certain surfaces. You were able to cut certain surfaces. However, I remember being in a shop with guys that didn't know how to handle foam and burn through clear so much faster
those edges
than wool.
Yeah.
But you're right. That made it a lot easier because that helped translate with, for me then, the next was, so microfiber. I was using Costco towels at the time, but they were microfiber. And that was nice to go like, oh, you can wipe down a car with these and it gets all the leftover wax that the cotton terry towel didn't get or the baby diaper didn't get that you were using. And you're like, wow, you can finally get all the wax off the car finally.
I used to go to I forgot about that, the diaper.
Yeah.
Go get the big garbage bag full of old diapers.
Yeah.
Not old diapers, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, but
not like
not poop on the diapers.
But you go to the companies that would do that and buy these big bags of diapers. That's right.
And that was supposed to be the softest. I remember pining over a bag of fresh, unused ones at like the AutoZone or the O'Reilly's when it was a Shucks and go like, maybe I should buy just a bag for myself. And it was like $10 for a dozen of them. And I remember thinking when I was 18 years old going like, that would be pretty sweet. Have my own set of towels for a car. But you get those. For me, then the next thing was all-in-ones. So you had a one-step polish. That you could use on a rotary, and that was like, well, this is pretty sweet. But then for me, the biggest thing was the dual actions. When you get the dual actions going, that saved time, weight, back,
everything,
muscle strain,
grip. I noticed both of me and our manager, our wrists and elbows. We should look like Popeye from running those rotaries all the time, but eventually it leads
tears
to fatigue.
up and that's the same here. I've got bursts and growths on my knuckles and wrists and things. And I was joking with these guys. So a friend of my wife's came over to massage my wife for her shins. She's got really bad shin splints. She's a fitness instructor. And so she was working at trying to break up some of those deposits in her shins. And my wife was telling her about my hands and my wrists and my elbows and shoulders and how they're pretty much shot. And so she, before she left, she goes, let me see your hand. And I was like, all right. And I showed her and I was like, I got some arthritis here, here, and here, and here. And she grabbed my hand and started working on it. One, I screamed. I had never felt such pain before in my hand. And she was like, breathe, just breathe. She had the oil on her hands and she was working my fingers. And I was, kid you not, I almost passed out.
Really?
The pain was so bad. But once she got them to start breaking down, I could feel like a release. And that was when that was the weirdest thing, because I was like, oh, there was a pressure release there in my fingertips and this kind of thing.
That sounds good. I want to go do that.
It was amazing, but
it
hurt so bad. I seriously, I still get chills thinking about it. And I get a little lightheaded and dizzy.
Turns a little pale.
It was. But my fingers have never felt so good.
Better.
Since she finished, but she was only in the house for like 5 minutes, and she was just like crack, bam, bam, bah, just popping.
So if she went after you for a half hour,
I don't know if I could. I don't know if I probably would have thrown up.
You got to figure maybe you do that like once every 3 or 4 months or something like that.
But that's what she said. She goes, what people don't seem to and she's a licensed massage therapist in the state, and she said what people don't seem to understand is you start to get those issues from overuse. She goes, professional athletes do the same thing. They overuse their certain joints. She goes, but they get massages, they soak, she's like, you probably don't even think about it. I said, no, I use ibuprofen. That's about it. I'll ice it or icy hot and ibuprofen. That's it. She's like, you should be massaging those joints that you use, because that's how you're making your money. And I've never thought of it that way. So what I'm saying is you guys should start taking some of that money and getting yourself a massage every once in a while.
There you go.
Especially working on your
Groupon. There's always
but
stuff
work
out there
on your
for
hands,
massages.
your wrists, your shoulders, your forearms, because guys like me and Jason that have been in it for 20 years, it's a problem now.
It's taking its toll.
And for the younger guys that are just getting into it, do a little preventative maintenance on yourself. You do it on your car. You get an oil change.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not saying get an oil change on yourself. I'm just saying
Whoa.
work on your get your knuckles and your wrists and your elbows, because one of the common issues is golfer's elbow for
big time.
detailers.
Yeah.
And that's the term,
inside,
golfer's elbow. It's the inside of your elbow. That's where you'll get the most amount of pain because of that's the angle of which you're holding that buffer.
You'd overuse the heck out of that right there. Well, the other thing too, though, is when we're young, we're bulletproof, right?
Yep.
And here's what I see. Now, I have a shop, so we're not mobile. We're pretty lucky there. But I see videos of you guys doing this, getting on your knees to polish a car.
Yeah.
What's his name? Fernandez? Joe.
Jose.
Yeah.
Jose Fernandez.
Love him, right? Love this guy. How does he get on his knees all the time? How do you guys get on your knees all the time to detail? Well, so take preventive measures. If you have to get on your knees, wear those knee pads, because you will miss your knees when they're gone. I promise you. So at our shop, we have lifts. So every car we work on, I can polish the most lower panel, and it's still right here in front of me.
Nice.
Now, that's not just being spoiled. I did that from the beginning.
Yeah.
Because of efficiency, and now we can show that off to customers. We can say, see, we got all the tar and stuff off down here, but it saves our backs.
Yeah.
That's the big thing. So doing things efficiently, like you said, Dane, about, I think it was you said about the DAs.
Yeah.
How much lower fatigue. Okay, so Levi, lower fatigue was huge. And I remember the first time I really accepted the DA, the Rupays. I bought it from Optimum when they were selling them before the Zen tool came out. Mm-hmm. And Dan Williams is saying, you got to try this polish and these pads, whatever. And a big chunk of our income, especially in the summer, is hologram removal.
Yeah.
Right? All these dealers, we have a Porsche and a Mercedes dealer close by. And I don't know how they buffer swirl the heck out of these things right on the line. At any given time, you can walk by and see him, right? Well, the right guy buys that, now he's going to have it removed. So that was part of our, service. And so we used foam pads to get that out, but it still could take like 3 steps, polishing the whole car. Dan kept saying, no, you got to do this DA thing. You got to get these swirls out. And I did it once. I'd have to do it in the shop and then pull it out in the sun. And I did it like 3 times, and the whole time I'm Facebooking him, and he's busy though. But I'm like, how do you do this? It ain't working, and I'm about to throw this $500 tool away, and go back and whatever. And then I'll never forget, he finally just called. And while I was on the phone, I said, okay, well, I just did another section. I've just about had it. I'm pulling this black Toyota out. And as I pull it out, I had my guy pull it out. The section is just perfect. No more swirls in this one thing. So I finally got that kind of figured out. But little did I know how much it would save our golfer's elbow, our tennis elbow, our wrists, things like that. Yeah. My manager was starting to have problems years ago doing that. So just because you're young, don't think you're bulletproof.
Looking to the future, looking out for number one.
Well, Well, and I'll even be the one to say that at our shop we went and got just pieces of foam block, and you can buy them at the store. They're the foam pads that go on the carpet or go on your flooring. Anti-fatigue mats. Oh, yeah. And my guys, we just cut those up and keep them on their cart. And then they just pull them out of the bottom if they're going to hop down on their knees for a bit.
Awesome.
We also had knee pads for the guys that needed them. But I went up to Matt Mormon's thing in Florida to work on his cars, and I didn't bring anything with me.
Yeah.
And so it was funny when I all of a sudden went to get down on my knees to buff this car, and I was like, oh man, I don't have it. And like I looked around, I was like, this is not, I'm feeling this now, this hurts. Yeah. And because I was just so used to having foam, but also I've spent many years on my knees buffing. And I look over and Matt has one of those brioche pads that is a knee pad that you can slide under your knees. And I was like, I found that, pulled it over, and I looked over, and nobody else was using anything like that except for Corey Caruth, the car pro. He had a set of Bigfoot knee pads that he had bought, and he brought them with him, and he had them on, and he was dead. And I was like, well, it's because he's also been a detailer for a long time and knows that you have to have them. But the other guys some of the young guys or the hobbyists that were there hadn't used weren't using knee pads, and I was thankful because I hadn't really got down on my knees buffing the car for a while.
Yeah. Well, when both of you guys started out, it was a different time in detailing too. Like now we've got all this stuff that we kind of take for granted that makes the jobs easier. And health and safety stuff has improved. Seemingly basic stuff, but it goes a long way towards these new guys coming into it. Yeah. They probably won't face the same kinds of fatigue. They'll still have it, for sure. It's going to happen just because of the wear and tear you put on your body, but it may not be as bad as somebody who started a while back.
True.
So keep an eye on that kind of gear, though. When you see new safety gear come out, take a look at it.
Well, and even, you know, we've got other detailers even around that I try and explain, wear gloves.
Oh yeah.
Gloves are a big thing, and a lot of guys don't. They don't like wearing it, and they're like, I'm not going to wear them. Find a pair. Go find a bunch of different pairs of gloves.
Absolutely.
Find the ones that you like to wear, the ones that are the most comfortable, and use those. You don't have to have black gloves. You don't have to
convince
wear
yourself that it
white
looks cool.
latex gloves. My guys wore blue surgical nitrile gloves that weren't latex, but they were just I didn't like the smell of gloves.
Yeah.
That was my issue.
Yeah.
Well, then I found a pair of gloves that I could wear that didn't smell.
Oh, okay.
And those were the gloves we used, and those were the gloves we bought them. And now they were a little expensive, but we wore them every day. And also, I didn't want ones that were super thin that would break or tear. So I wanted something strong and thick enough.
I like those nitrile ones.
But thick enough that you could still manipulate your hands. You had some dexterity. But a lot of guys don't. They won't use gloves.
Don't use them,
And there are some products that you shouldn't get on your skin, but guys use it anyway.
Yeah, people don't realize something on your skin, it goes in your bloodstream. Right? Just because it's not a poison that instantly attacks you. If it's on your skin, it's going in your bloodstream. So think of that. So to protect your hands, like you're saying, but also your lungs.
Yeah.
So some of these new, if you guys haven't figured out, I just love Optimum stuff, right? I love Optimum and Rag Company are like my guys. So, but Optimum stuff, if you read the MSDS sheet, in fact, I'll say it this way. 3M, we used a lot of 3M products back in the day. Most of those polishes and compounds, I dare you to read the MSDS sheet.
Yeah.
And look at the personal protective equipment you're supposed to have.
Yeah, that you're supposed to be wearing that guys have never worn.
Yeah, borderline full bunny suit, right, that they want to put. Now, some of that's on there because they want to protect themselves.
Looking like Walter White out there.
Oh, big time. Oh, yeah. And it'll say all this. Well, it's because that stuff gets airborne, the polishes in those compounds. They get airborne, and then you breathe them. Well, that's why I like an Optimum, because not only how it performs, right, it gets money in your pocket because it gets the job done faster, but it's also safer to use.
Yeah, and that was the reason.
What's in it, and it doesn't dust as much. So you got a double benefit just right there.
Well, and that was one of the reasons that led me to Optimum, because after 15 years of detailing for other people, and for those of you that are wondering, Anthony did walk in. He got
hey guys,
Anthony's back.
Sorry. Stop helping a customer, so
but
I'm back.
Yeah, so for me, like my wife said, I've got 2 little kids.
Yeah.
I'm 37 years old, and I've got a 3-year-old and a 6-year-old. And my wife said, we got little ones. I need you to stick around, but you have had your hands soaked in lacquer thinner for 15 years. Something weird's going to happen to you.
Yeah.
You're going to get some weird.
Can't be good.
You're going to get some weird cancer. That's what's going to happen. And so she said, well, now you have control. This is your shop. You're not behooven to anybody.
Yeah.
What products do you want to use?
Yeah.
And why don't you find some good ones?
Find some good ones,
that work. And I was like, oh, come on, all the eco-friendly stuff sucks.
Yeah.
Everything that says it's good,
everybody has. If it's good for the environment, it must not be good.
Right. And so that was my. And so I was like, I'm not going to be able to work. I'm not going to be able to detail a car the right way.
Yeah.
And so it took me a while, and once I found Optimum and I started learning about it and utilizing, reading SDS sheets, Matt and I looked at Matt and said, well, this is what we're going to do. And Matt was like, no, it sounds good. My wife doesn't want me falling over either. So, and then I started looking around, and there weren't some of the old timers, the old detailers that had been in it for 30 years when I started, were having neurological issues. They were getting shaky and jumpy and slurring their speech, and the old bodymen, the old painters that were around solvents for so many years.
They breathed it,
and breathed it and sanding.
Didn't give it a second thought.
Yeah, they didn't, because that was just how it was. And I had a printmaker that I took some classes from at Boise State, and he ended up dying from his body was riddled with cancer because of the print, all the inks and all the printmaking methods using acid etching and the silk screening and screen printing and all the different versions of printing that he would do for so many years caught up to him. And he was one of the first ones that started to push towards safe and ecologically safe biosafe inks and dyes and processes for printing. But he died when I was probably 23, 24. But taking all that into account, I started to kind of look and go like, yeah, I probably should start looking into new stuff and safer stuff. And so that's what led me into that, because no
doubt.
If my body's falling apart from running a buffer,
right?
What about the products that I've been breathing and touching
Yeah.
my whole life?
So on that note, here's something that, especially for guys that have a shop, this will send a chill down all of their spine, and that is call out the OSHA inspector. Call the OSHA inspector on yourself.
Yeah, that was, I never did.
Yeah, see, everybody's scared. But I went through I went through my whole shop one time because if you have employees, right, you're on the hook. So I was like, I want to make everything as safe as I can be. I want everything safety. And then I said, man, this place is bulletproof. I'm going to do a self-inspection or whatever. You just call them up. Well, they're very helpful. And they'll even say,
they want to make
we'll
sure.
come out and we're not going to just hand you a big fine if we find something.
Yeah.
Unless it's life-threatening on the spot. But so I was nervous, but I called that guy out. Now I have him out about every other year.
Yeah.
But little things like we didn't, on our air compressor, we didn't have a cage over the belt.
Yeah.
So people reaching back there, they get their hand in the pulley. Tripping hazards, all those little things. And it also helps when you get inspectors like that on your side. You're proactive.
Yeah. They like that.
They love that.
Yeah. So when you get that report, they tend to be a little friendlier about it too.
I was like that with the EPA and all our stuff locally here, because we're on a river, and everything that comes out of sewers drains into the rivers.
Just goes in the river.
Well, not in the sewer system, but the storm drains.
The storm drain.
All the storm drains go to the river, and so they're really cracking down.
Yeah.
And the area of town that my shop was in used to have the old phrase "garbage city." They are redoing.
That's Garden City, but it was
Garbage City.
But it's called nickname is Garden or Garbage.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
that's the Boise. Isn't that the Boise River?
Yeah.
Right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, and the new shop that Matt moved into is literally on the bank of the river.
Couldn't be closer.
Couldn't be closer. It's you walk out the back door and the river's right there. So he's got a nice view.
He's got a free disposal.
Yeah, he's got a free disposal right there.
Oh my God! Don't grab the buckets, boys.
But in the city, because of the revitalization of that area, for so many years it was just mechanic shops, junkyards, and RV dealerships.
It's like the CD warehouse district.
And a lot of that. So now they've turned it into breweries, wineries. There's some art galleries going in. So they're changing the way the city is to be perceived, and they're putting in condominiums and townhouses and getting rid of all the old trailer parks and stuff. But the city has gone through that revitalization, so they're trying to make everything up to code, up to snuff. And so with my shop, that was one of the first things was I called them out. And I remember I was in the shop for 3 days, and I called them out to come check and make sure everything was right. And I had a gravel parking lot, and I wanted to make sure I could even wash out in the gravel.
Yeah.
I was having drains put in at the time. I had the sump system, everything put in. And the guy came out. He came in like he was a cop, hot on patrol, like just chased me down, hopped out of his van.
I'm gonna find it.
And was screaming and yelling at me left and right. And I was like, I'm sorry, can I help you? And he was like, I'm so-and-so from da-da-da-da-da. And I was like, oh, good, yeah, I'm the one that called and left a message for you on Monday. It was Wednesday. And he was like, wait, what? And I was like, yeah, I'm the one that called to have you come out and inspect all this. And he was like, do you live on the property? And I was like, no. And he was really confused. He kept pulling back his thing. And he was like, well, I'm supposed to meet Levi Gates and da-da-da-da-da. And I was like, yeah, that's me. That's who I called you. I was like, you're so-and-so. And he said, yeah. And I was like, that's who I called. He was like, oh. Well, anyway, I got a call about a report of a detail shop, and so I was coming to check it out, and I was like, right, that was me calling you to come check it. Yeah, so he was going to try and catch me in the act of dumping diesel down the drain or something. But once he kind of calmed down, and he was like, so why are you calling me? And I was like, well, I wanted to check. I wanted to.
You want to be up to
I want to make sure I'm okay on everything that I'm doing, and I want to make sure I'm in the practice. He was like, I never had anybody do that before.
Yeah.
I was like, I imagine not. You came in ready to. I'm surprised you didn't come in with the sheriff's department.
Yeah.
Like,
Levi,
funny.
that is funny. That's exactly what I did.
Yeah.
Moved into my new place in 1995, and it just had this drain. What are they called? Like a trench drain.
Yep.
Grease trap. And then, that went out into the street.
Yeah.
And when I bought the place, I was like asking the guy, I said, this is okay for detailing? I can just, he goes, oh yeah, that trench, it traps all the pollutants.
Solids and pollutants.
Yeah,
and
but
that.
it's like, it only this, it
holds about a gallon.
But yeah, your hydrofluoric acids just go, and I'm like, so I did it for probably 6 months. And I'm like, and I'm right in the middle of Beaverton. I mean, anybody can see what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So I did the same thing. I called DEQ. They said, well, go to your local, blah, blah, blah. Called out the inspector. And they could have just stopped me on the spot. They could have just said, no, this goes right into Beaverton Creek. You can't do this. But he said, okay, well, please stop using, acid until we get this, but everything else you're using is fine. And so then we did. It spent tens of thousands of dollars.
Yep,
but a sump, collect it, goes through all water separator. Yeah, goes through the
it's a separator.
Oil water separator, which ours had to be above ground, which is a whole nother thing. But still in use today.
Yeah.
And then get the permits, and now we're inspected once a year. But yeah, to get them on your side, they love it. Now they'll have other detail shops come out to mine, and they'll say, can we look and show you how all this happened.
Yeah, and once I started using O&R and using a capture mat outside, I remember they came to check, and I called them and said, hey, you guys should come check this thing out. And they were like, what? And so they came out. I was like, I just wanted to show you what I'm doing to make an outside wash bay. And they were surprised. And I thought it was funny because as detailers, this is something we all kind of know. I just had a capture mat that I bought online, and then I was using a sump pump, and I was pumping it back into my drain with a garden hose. And I was just pumping it into my drain, which would then go into my collection unit.
Yeah.
And that was how I was taking care of all the water that I was collecting. And they, when they showed up, they were like, well, I've never seen anybody do anything like that before.
Really?
And I was like,
they didn't.
Really? And they're like, where did you buy that? And I told them and explained it to them and showed them, and they were like,
wow.
I mean, that's everything that needs to be. Wow.
Legit,
they were stoked, but it was just getting them on your side.
Yeah. Well, some of that probably is geographically driven. I'm sure the guys that are listening to this in Southern California or Arizona or these places.
It's a little harder. We're in smaller towns, so it seems to be a little easier.
Okay, right. And
we got the chance to get ahead of things up here,
Yeah. God, that's interesting.
But the OSHA thing, my dad was an OSHA inspector. And so I'd had him come through the shop and just check on a Saturday with me. And he'd tell me stuff, and that's why I'd try and keep it fairly good. I never went as far as calling OSHA. But I made sure I had everything. I had all my SDS. Matt took the time, and kudos to him for doing it, but he took all the SDS sheets. He called Optimum. He called the other companies that we were using products from and got SDS sheets emailed, printed them out, put them all in a binder, organized them all properly, labeled it, and had it all set up. So that it was sitting in front and center. And then you have to have a training program
for your employees with a little thing. Yeah,
but he had everything. He did all the stuff that was set up, and so it was good. But the new shop actually has a flammable cabinet in it, so he's able to actually utilize the flammables. So he was pretty stoked about that. But it was that's a smart idea. And a good way to get ahead of some of those
and
issues.
Being safe, I'm sure someone else has said this, but being safe is profitable. I mean, because it will come back to haunt you, whether someone else gets hurt or you get hurt. If you can't work for a period of time, can you still make your payments to all the things we mentioned? Those sort of things are big.
Because you're still here, you're in good health. The other guy, maybe not.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, knees point blank. Can't do that stuff anymore. Yeah. And trying to make, again, circling back to like just profits, to be able to work efficiently enough, to earn enough to live the lifestyle that you want. A lot of people are, maybe they're not hobbyists, but people that say, this always cracks me up, people that say, I love doing detailing, this is so fun, found a job or something I like to do, and I'm really happy. Okay, well, my perspective, A, is congratulations, you found something you like to do. I like to detail too, but I like money more, right? This is a business, and I don't want to do it the rest of my life. I want to sell it someday. I like to go to Mexico once a year. You know, I like to be able to come to out of town for a wedding, family things like that, emergencies, whatever. So to charge enough, to make enough money, to make it profitable, get over the uncomfortableness of anytime like we raise prices. We always have this. You'll have a mental ceiling in your head. And for us, way back in the day, $500 was kind of this thing where you'd be like, a guy comes in with some black, we'll just pick a 57 Chevy he had painted and it's orange peeled, and he says, this entire thing, we need to wet sand the whole thing, how much is it going to be? Well, nowadays we know that would be a few $1,000s for a job like that.
It's not $500.
But I remember back then talking to my manager and going, how much are we going to charge? It's got to be like $550.
Yeah.
There's no way someone's going to pay that. And so then we go out to that guy with the attitude, okay, it's going to be $500, like that inflection in your voice, and that's a lot of money. And how many of those jobs did you land? Like none.
Yeah,
you already gave them you fed the answer to them. Inception style, it's in their head now. They're not gonna.
You approach it from the other end, and say, well, this is going to be a $1,500 job, and what I always do is when I say a price. Right when I say it, I look them in the eye briefly. I don't want to, I don't want to make them uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because some people, $1,500 or whatever, they're just like, are you kidding me? I was thinking 150.
Yeah.
Right. And that's fine. And you'll let them get that out. But it's going to be $1,500, and here's why. And then you'll see them. I mean, you can tell right within 2 seconds if someone's gonna buy or not.
Right.
And you get a chance to do that. But anyway, my whole point was. Get over the uncomfortableness of charging enough to make it really profitable for yourself, and understand you're not selling to yourself. If you go, man, I can't afford a $500 detail.
You don't know that.
That's right, but you're not selling to you. You're selling to someone else.
Well, and we get that even in the store here.
Yeah,
we have customers that walk in. We had a gentleman in the store yesterday, and he came in and. We were all of us were busy, and Jeff, the owner, started talking to him, and he was like, hey, how can I help you? He's like, oh, well, I've been hearing about you guys, so I thought I'd come in and check it out, and started talking to him, and found out that he went up to check out the eclipse with Jeff's son, his other son, not Dane, and so it was Corey, Dane's brother, that sent him in here. Said, oh, you should check out the rag company. My parents own this. And they were just started talking detailing.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
Well, the guy's not a detailer. He's an optometrist. But the way he relaxes is to clean all his vehicles.
Okay.
And that's how he does. But we didn't know that. He's just a guy in the shop looking at some O&R. And I was like, I've been thinking about O&R. Well, long story short, he spends 2 hours in the store yesterday with us. Goes on a tour with Jeff. I give him the whole rundown, teach him about Optimum products and towels and microfiber. The man's well versed on microfiber. He's a big proponent of Griot's.
Okay.
Buys a lot of Griot's garage stuff. Takes trips up to Seattle to go check out the store all the time. Loves that stuff. Dropped $500 in our store yesterday. And
doesn't run a business, just a guy who cleans his cars.
Yeah.
A hobbyist.
Well, then we find out he's an optometrist. He buys lens cloths.
Oh, yeah.
He buys 3,000 lens cloths at a time for his business that he gives to his customers that come in and buy glasses and get their eyes checked and all that stuff.
Yeah. Boy, do we have something to show you.
Yeah. So Jeff's like, well, we can do custom lens cloths for you with embossing. And he was like, oh, this will be great. He was just a guy in here just kind of was like, I just kind of heard about you guys and checked.
When you buy...
Yeah, when you buy an order from us, and we
those black cloths you get in your order.
Yeah,
we give those out. Yeah,
yeah. I've got a whole gob of those now. I mean, I don't even wear glasses, but all my
there's a logo. Cell phone.
Do you put that logo on there?
Yeah, the factory.
Does.
Oh, you have it. Oh, yeah. That's cool. By the way, cool touch.
Thanks. On our suede ones, we can have them embossed with the logo.
Because it's a thick enough material, you can indent it.
They press it in there,
yeah,
basically, melt it or something.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So, but anyway, but we didn't know he was going to spend.
Yeah.
You know, most customers come in, they buy one or two things, or they're here to get a few, or they're return customers, and we just have our.
You got regulars.
We got regulars. You know, like one of the guys that came in before when you were down here, Tom. He comes in and buys maybe a towel or two and a pad every couple weeks. He's retired, semi-retired, and he works at a hot rod shop. And he just hangs out and runs the hot rods around to get gas and gives them a O&R wash and dry and
kind of fun.
Touches up a couple spots, polishes a couple spots, but that's just he's semi-retired and he likes hanging out with cars, so that's what he does.
Yeah.
So
you never know who will spend the money.
Yeah.
Which comes back for us. Sometimes we'd have customers in our shop that I was guilty of not letting them know every service that we did.
Right.
So we do a detail. We're like, okay, man, thanks, Dane, for coming in. Your total is $498, and then you go, man, that was a good job. Okay, thanks. And then Risey goes out there and goes, oh, who do you know that does headlight restoration? Because we need to have that done. And I go, well, we do.
Yeah.
We do. And we saw that you needed it, and I still didn't say anything to you.
Right, exactly.
Well, duh. Now, that sounds obvious. If the headlights are, you should say something.
Yeah, if they're
but to let them know that, now that's kind of an obvious example. I would always say that. But maybe with coatings or other things like that to say, okay, you're spending this much money for more protection over the wax, to let them know. Now, they come in with a 95 Corolla that's white, single stage paint, and it's oxidized to heck. Are they going to drop $1,500 on an OptiCoat Pro Plus job? No. Probably not. But how I say, every now and then they go for it because they want to. But I'll say, okay, if you're talking to your customer enough, you'll learn how long they've had the car.
Right.
Sometimes they're getting rid of it, whatever.
Sometimes they're flipping
your next car. That's right.
Or sometimes it's not theirs.
You could have prevented this. Yeah. Anything. Yeah. So don't prejudge that customer and let them know every single service you do. I mean, that's just some advice.
Well, and
you know this.
Yeah, but I even did things like I joined clubs.
Car clubs.
Car clubs, and so for me it was Jeeps, and so I had a Jeep and I joined a Jeep club and I offered the members of the Jeep club a discount on services. Now, I didn't plan on just cleaning muddy Jeeps.
Yeah.
That wasn't the goal. Kind of backfired.
But that's what you got.
But what it did was it got me a group of guys that referred me to their friends and family. Even if they didn't use the service themselves, they referred me.
Even if they didn't have Jeeps.
Even if they didn't have a Jeep. There were guys, they would bring, like, one guy had a Jeep, he'd bring in his wife's car and get it detailed for her. Or he'd bring in his other daily driver and get it cleaned. Or he'd bring his dad's car in and get it, get it done for Father's Day. Or, they created a referral program for me that hit a group of people that I couldn't get. Yeah. Or didn't even have or knew about me.
Well, and that builds trust, right? When someone else, someone comes in and says, hey, I'm going to get a detail, I always ask, if I don't recognize them, oh, okay, how did you first find out about us? The guy that says, oh, this buddy of mine, Levi's in the same club, he told me about you. I don't even have to sell anymore. That guy's sold. He's done. He's coming in, he's doing it. You're not talking.
His friend vouched, then it's already solid.
Well, Anthony's been quiet, so.
So what I was going to say, I mean, like on Levi's note here, so there's a local detailer here named Brian, and he actually got into the whole car scene by joining an old forum that we had it was in Idaho. It's called Idaho Motorsports, which was basically just a big car forum that we had here locally, and it's funny, Dane was on there as well back in the day, and so, but using like those social media tools, I know forums nowadays are kind of starting to dwindle out, but getting onto groups on Facebook and things like that, and I mean, I don't want to say necessarily...
Especially locally.
Yeah, you don't want to necessarily spam people because, I mean, I'm not a big fan of, like, spamming constant, ads and stuff like that.
The line is always different wherever you are. You find it, and you spend enough time around these people, you kind of know.
Exactly.
But it's just understanding what's acceptable and what's not.
Brian, I mean, he just did a really good job at kind of marketing himself within that forum at that time as being kind of the go-to guy for your imports, since that was most of the scene there, with the Hondas and, Mitsubishis.
It's not that the imports were any different from any other car. It's just
and they're not. He
happened to target that niche, and they responded to it well.
And he showed people that were in that niche and showed them that, hey, this is what your car could look like. Let's take this Subaru STI and let's polish it to perfection and show other people what their car could look like, and then also set up your pricing structure so you can handle every job differently if you absolutely need to. So he was able to just make a killing starting there, and then after that he ventured off into higher end cars. He started getting into Porsches. He started getting into classic cars. He started doing cars that he actually really wanted to do, but it all started from somewhere, and it started from referrals and really building that reputation in a very small
and
area.
I remember him talking about it was the hard part. The reason I didn't get into it was I looked at it and said, those kids don't have money to pay me. Those kids don't have the money to get their car detailed by me.
They find a way to spend money on a lot of
They'll find money they'll put money in the motors, the wheels, the tires, but they don't care about the paint. Half of them don't even care about the paint. And so for me, I was like, I'm not going to get into it. Well, and Brian's like, yeah, but I'm planting seeds.
Yeah.
And that's how he looked at it, was he was planting these seeds, and these guys, once they started learning about what he could do, once they started learning the things they could do, they all kind of grew up. They weren't driving little Honda Civics that they got in high school, and
they're enthusiasts.
They became enthusiasts, so they'd get a job, they'd finish college, they'd get into getting their first job, and they'd buy themselves a nicer car, or they'd get the toy that they wanted.
They're working towards something.
They worked towards something and worked towards a goal, but who's in their mind that whole time of the guy, oh, now I got my STI, now I got my Evo, now I got my Audi S5, I got this cool car that I've been pining over and wanting. Now I want to make sure it stays nice. Who do I call? Oh, my buddy Brian. I finally have the money to pay him.
Yeah, that super deluxe package we've always heard about.
Yeah, like a year ago, I had this guy. He's great. You should talk to him.
Yeah. Where I was looking at it, going like, they're not going to pay me all year. Like I'm not going to waste my time with it.
Well, it's easy to write something like that.
But for me, it was easy because I already had the work. I already had the business. I didn't need those guys, but I was blinded by that. I didn't see it as planting seeds. Brian saw it as planting seeds, and now he's,
he's the preeminent detailer in the enthusiast community.
Reaping the products. People are
good for him.
People
he
are following
put in the
him
work.
for that.
Yeah. Well, and that's to, at least for me, to always be trying to upgrade your customer base. But that doesn't mean to the exclusion.
No.
I mean, sometime, and we're probably guilty of it. You have a shop, and in rolls the quintessential 95 Corolla, right? As soon as it rolls in, I'm like, no, don't come in. Don't come. They don't make enough polish to polish that car. Don't go, oh, he's getting out of his car. Oh, here he comes. Okay. But he may, come in and say, well, I've got this Cayenne I just bought. And, and you go, oh, crap.
This is just my daily beater.
Whatever.
Sitting around.
My dad was that guy.
Oh, yeah.
That's what he would do. He'd have a nice car, and then he'd have a full-on turd. That he'd beat.
He loves his little
and
Versa.
And he's got a Versa now. Before then, he had a little 85 Sentra that he just beat the crap out of. Put 350,000 miles on it, and that's what he drove to work and back. And then
you don't know.
He's also didn't know he had all these other. He had these 4 other hot rods. You didn't know he had these other cars that were nice because that was who he was. I remember in high school he taught me that because he gave me my truck, which had been rolled down a hill, and every fender had been rusted out completely. I had to weld in new floorboards my senior year in my welding class.
Just for bigger tires, right?
Yeah, because the floors were rotted out of it. And I remember...
if you're tall, it's extra foot space.
Yeah, it was air conditioning in the summer. So it came from the bottom. But he was like, hey, I need you to go take that tire and just have Schwab put a tube in it. It was like a spare that I had. And I took it down there, and they saw me pull up in this beat-up truck that was leaning to one side, and the whole right side was caved in. And I was just a dumb 16-year-old kid. And I was like, yeah, my dad told me I need to put this tube in there. And they're like, no, we need to sell you a new tire. We need to get this, and you got to do, we can't put a tube in that tire. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And it was a bald 35-inch tire. I mean, it was nothing fancy with it. My dad just needed he was like, that's a spare Literally, that's all it's going to be. We're putting a tube in it. It's going to be fine. And so I was like, well, I can't afford a new tire. And my dad told me only a tube, and he only gave me $20. And they were like, well, I don't tell you. And so I left. I went back home. My dad's like, what are you doing? I was like, they told me I couldn't put a tube in the tire. I had to buy a new tire. And he goes, that's crap. Well, he had a Supra. And he goes, hold on a second. He was out cleaning the yard or whatever. He went on, put on a collared shirt, took his T-shirt off, put on a collared shirt, threw that same tire and wheel in the Supra with me. I'm helping him lift this thing in the back. We hop in the car, head over. He pulls up in the Supra, pulls this tire out, grabs one of the kids and goes, hey, I need you to put a tube in this tire. And the guy goes, oh, yeah, right away, sir, no problem. Swaps the tire, throws the tube, tells him it's going to be like $10 for the tube. And my dad's like, sweet, thanks. And he helps us. They put wrap it in plastic. They load it gingerly and nicely in the back of the Supra. And my dad's like, all right, cool. We get back in the car and drive. And my dad goes, well, that's because you're a 16-year-old kid in a beat-up truck.
Yeah.
They don't.
Yeah,
he goes, I could have driven working in the yard all day and drove my beater truck there, and they probably would have treated me exactly the same. He goes, but you dress a little nicer.
Yeah.
You show up in a nicer car. They're looking at it like, oh yeah, let's do, because we want to get the tires.
The guy in shorts and Birkenstocks walks in. You don't know if he's a billionaire. He's
Yeah.
walking into a Porsche dealership. And
Well,
he's
that's
just chilling.
Yeah, and my dad always loved being that guy in the beat up truck, showing up to not,
treated
you
some
know,
way. Yeah.
and he liked doing that. And so I always tried to remember that with my customers, was that every customer can afford a coating, every customer can afford your services.
Yeah.
But I was like you, I never wanted to try and oversell, headlights. I never would
I don't
always
want to
felt
put
weird.
them in this
They ask.
predicament of well, they can still say no, so it's okay.
That's the key too. And
Yeah,
I think it was
remember.
I think it was Yvonne that said, give them the opportunity to say no.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean you're hard selling them. You'd be like, okay, well, these headlights, man, you got to get them done, and I can't afford it right now. Yeah, but no, you don't keep on it. At least
just
in
let
my
them know
model.
that you can do it.
Yeah, you just say, okay, well, next time or sometimes we charge a lot.
Yeah,
we're
I
like
do too.
$200 for headlights, right?
Yeah.
So they'll go, whoa, boy, I think I can get new ones for that. And I don't even argue, because we all know you ain't getting new headlights for $200.
Oh, it's more
But
like
I'll just say, okay, well, if you're within $100 of that, get new ones.
Yeah.
I would do that. So the soft sell, at least for me, works good. And then they may come back or may not.
Showing that flexibility.
Or I
goes a
would
long
call
way.
them and say, hey, I saw your headlights are bad. I can do them for you for this much more.
Yeah.
If you wanted me to do it. I'm just saying, you don't have to, but and they were like,
The
I
option's
didn't
on
even
the
know.
table.
I didn't even know you could do it. And I
Yeah.
try and come at it as like a friend. Hey, dude, we got in. I noticed your headlights were kind of wonky. If we can fix them for you, we can do this. And they were like, I didn't know you could do that. I've been thinking it. My wife was asking me about that. I didn't know.
Yeah, if you come in too hard with it's a safety hazard and you're gonna not everybody responds well to that.
That's
so
right. I usually just pitch the two things. I say, well, cosmetically they look bad, so you'll get them looking better, especially after we're done detailing.
I was gonna say,
rest
the
of the
cleaner
car.
the car looks,
Yeah.
those headlights are just gonna look worse by association.
Right.
Yeah,
so
they're
they
right
look bad,
there.
but then I'll mention the safety. I just go, but the big thing is they just don't put out as much light.
And that's
again,
just a fact.
I go back again to me being in the Northwest Portland area, is that it's dark a lot.
Yeah.
In fact, you said something, is there a segue? Something earlier, you said we're in the same area here. The difference between Boise
Yeah, you
and
got more
Portland,
trees.
Yeah, well, and dark and rain.
Yeah.
So to me, I always say it's Portland, Seattle, and Vancouver, BC.
Yeah.
That strip of our country, I love it. I was born and raised there. I love traveling outside of those areas because then I see different things. And I think I mentioned in the other podcast, the headlight thing. They just fade faster everywhere else, whereas we deal with other things. Cleaning door jams. Door jams in Portland, I'm telling you, it's different.
It's
and
totally
people think it's the same, but it's different.
Yep.
And that's just because there's so much moisture, you get moss growing quite a bit. Some people say moss on a car.
I was gonna say, do you guys get a lot of like mold issues and stuff like that?
Definitely.
Or mildew?
Definitely. Yeah, because things just don't dry out as much. Yeah. So
Yeah,
things
we're
like that
still
are
technically
different.
a high desert over here, even though we're in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
We're a high
Yeah.
desert, so we do get to dry out where you
Yes.
don't.
Yeah, we don't.
Really
now,
hot
we
in
have
summer.
been, this summer's been, that's the thing about Oregon, why people move to Portland, is because for 3 or 4 months out of the year, it is the most beautiful.
Yep.
I mean, it is just, everything's so green. But yet the weather's 80 and 90 degrees every day. Well, where do you think that green comes from? It comes from 9 months straight of rain and cloudiness and darkness and stuff like that. So we all have our different challenges and stuff, and like the mobile detailing.
Yeah.
Do you guys do that much here? You have
there's mobile detailers here. There's a lot of guys that still do it, but we don't usually have a very bad winter. This winter was our worst winter in 30 years.
There's the exception to the rule.
When I was here in December.
You stopped by last time.
I saw that. I put that rental car.
Yeah, you were a champion.
But
normally we get 3 to 6 inches of snow that lasts for about a day and then is gone. And then we're lucky if we have maybe a week of sub-zero temperatures.
I mean, it does get cold, and it can stay cold for a while.
It gets 20, 30 degrees.
But it's still sunny.
The cold isn't usually accompanied by a whole lot of moisture. And what precipitation we do get, it's usually concentrated, like he's saying, to like a day or two, and then it's gone. And that's it. The problem we had this year was that it just compounded on top of itself. You had one bit, and then more came,
sub-zero,
more came, and it had no chance to like give you a break in between.
Yeah, and below freezing for like 2 weeks straight, so nothing melted.
Normally it's here and gone tomorrow. So
we're usually always about 34 and sunny in the winter, so it just never fully freezes everything. And then there'll be a random 2-week cold snap, but there's no snow, no ice, no rain, nothing. It's just
it's not like we're Buffalo, New York, or anything.
Anthony couldn't even drive his car this whole winter.
Oh no, it's bad. Well, because
super sweet all-wheel drive car, and you
I know.
don't take it out in the snow.
Well, what happened was so there was something that happened with my HOA and the ice or the snowplow guys. There was some type of debacle there that happened, and so basically
it didn't happen.
So basically the snowplow guys like went on strike or something of that sort, and so. All the snowfall that we had throughout the entire year did not get moved once. So what happened was we had all this snow with people constantly driving up and down my street, following the same ruts because, every other car on my street besides mine was like, a truck. And so it created these giant ruts in the road.
They were like driving on railroad tracks.
Yeah. So
they would catch you.
Let go of the wheel and just let it.
So they were
scary.
I mean, I'd probably say the ruts in the road were up to my knees, like in height. And then kind of caved in, and I almost kind of made like a U-shaped until it met the other rut on the other side that was also up to my knees. So what happened was that wouldn't be bad if it was fresh powder. You could just kind of plow right through that and it would all be good.
But
they froze and they became rock solid. So they were actually just giant walls of ice.
Rip your bumper off.
So it's just driving on a really long, scrapey rock.
Oh yeah, it would rip your bumper off. It would. I mean, it would do some serious damage to your car. So I ended up getting out there and with a sledgehammer and started breaking up these chunks of. I'm talking when I say chunk size, they were chunks of ice. I had to go out and buy a sledgehammer for this and break down all these ruts just so I could get a truck in there. So it got bad, but. I think, hopefully, fingers crossed.
Snow tires on your Grom and just ride down the rut.
I should have, just drilled some like nails through it or something like that, get it to where there's some grip.
But isn't it weird how, so different parts in the country, for us, that was very unusual. Portland had similar type issues. Other parts of the country, I guess it happens all the time.
Yeah.
And we plow or salt the roads.
They think it's cute that we're so worried about that.
Yeah,
and we made the mistake of selling all our snow plows last year before the snow hit.
City did or something?
Yeah.
They decided we just didn't need them because they're like, we haven't had
any
worry
snow
about
that we
in
need.
a long time, whatever. It happened the year
worst
before.
Worst snowfall of 35 years.
It's going to happen every
It's going to get worse now. Yeah.
And so it was, I have a little lowered car and it did great with my snow tires, but I was on a major road that always got plowed. So I didn't have to worry. But what I did have to worry about was my car being buried every morning with snow plows.
But the plow goes by.
It would go by and it buried my car and I'd have to dig out my car. So then I ended up shoveling a pathway around the back of my house, like around the back to my driveway and alley, or my garage and alley, and clearing out a spot and then shoveling the alley at least to where I parked at. Yeah. And my wife and I did that, and we'd take turns, and it was a workout to try and get the area just cleared enough so that I could pull around back every night and pull out every morning and drive to work.
So what kind of, since we had something similar in Portland this year, because I've been doing it long enough, and that has happened every 7 to 10 years, is the detailing opportunities that come up.
In the winter.
In the winter, but what's going to happen later?
Oh,
Meaning
yeah.
people that damage their cars.
Oh, yeah.
I even made by far the most successful YouTube video I ever made was on the day it snowed and the whole city shut down, right? And I just said, stood outside and said, hey man, look, there's a foot of snow in Portland. This never happens.
Yep.
And I'm going to make a lot of money off you guys, and here's why. You're gonna use, and I had a broom in my hand.
Yep, I remember that video.
You're gonna scrape the snow off with this, and and then come spring, when everybody in Portland decides finally to wash their car, they're going to see all these scratches, and they're going to say, man, the damn car wash. These car washes up here are just cheap. They just look. No, the car wash doesn't make scratch. We know what car wash scratches look like. It's because you use this. And the funny thing was, I should have made that video about an hour earlier, because as soon as I made it, every friend I have goes, just blowing up my cell phone. Jason, oh, I just did that. On the way to work, why didn't you tell me not to do that? Well, some people are like, well, duh, you don't drag a shop broom across the hood of your car. Yeah. But sure enough, first week of sun, which for us was probably May-ish, right? And we see all these little transfer marks from the flat, all this stuff, and ka-ching, it starts,
I had
making money on it. So
the last day that I was at work at the shop, we had a customer that had just bought a car, and they took it up to Sun Valley to go skiing, and while they were up there, they used not a snow broom, they used the scraper part and scraped the snow off the hood of their Jeep and the roof, and not like just shoveled basic. It's like they used a snow shovel, and it had metal edges, and it scratched across the hood and the roof and the windshield, and it messed it up. So
I don't know what's wrong.
So
it's the car wash. I always blame the car wash.
So the roof was bad. We were able to buff out the roof, but there was a couple spots that went a little deep. We just touched those up for them. But then we had to have they paid to have the hood repainted, and that was literally the last day I was there. I was installing we'd gotten the hood. I was over at the body shop helping reinstall the hood. Do that. But it was but there was a ton of people that did that. They just they didn't think. And
so to specialize in that though, so to know right away when a customer comes in and says, I got these scratches and you can see a pattern. How about this? How about tire chains? That come off a little bit, and they sit there and beat the heck out of the fender. Some people go, again, it's always the car wash. I went to the car wash and this is what they did. And then you go, did you happen to have chains on this winter when you had that? Yeah, well, that's what it's from. But to something current, to talk about something current though, is that flooding in Texas. So now, of course, the life disruption for so many people, but the thousands of cars that are flooded just enough to repair, not take total losses. Those detailers down there, man, you got to specialize. We make, because in Portland was such a wet environment, we deal with that all the time. Now, not massive flooding. A lot of times it's just leaks from a car leaks or something. But every now and then there'll be a parking lot that'll flood. Like if you're on the Boise River, where you're saying that dude happens to flood just
Which
a
happened
foot
this
high.
Year. That happened this year.
I encourage detailers, because they're probably hurting down there in Texas, right? Because no one's going to be detailing their cars. But eventually, there will be a market for flood repair, and that'll be just taking the carpets out and doing all that kind of stuff. But man, Fresh Start Detail makes a lot of money doing that in the winter. And that's right when you need the money, too, right, during that time.
The lean months.
Yeah. So I would encourage people to research that on Optimum's Facebook page. There's been a thread started by Dan talking about it just a little bit. And I would definitely help out struggling detailers if they need some advice on how to do that.
It's cool.
So take advantage of the, like when hailstorms come by and cause dents. Now, we don't get that in Portland, but I guess you guys do here sometimes.
We haven't had it in a while. We get hail, but never that
not enough
damaging.
To really, so parts of the country, that they get those golf ball stuff.
Oh, yeah.
If you drive a convertible with a vinyl fabric top, it just rips it.
Shreds it. So I would say specialize in those when an environmental thing happens in your part of the country, man, be the expert.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I never even thought about that.
Because it usually can happen at times of the year when you need the work.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. And when you're doing that interior work, it helps to have your new light that you made.
Oh, that's right. I almost forgot.
So, for those of you that don't know, this is hard to see, but because you're listening through your ears, so you're not going to be able to see it. But Jason has created a interior lamp. And for those of you that are on the Optimum forums and things, and we'll take a picture of this and post it on the page, on our podcast page, so you guys can see this, and we'll put a link to Jason's stuff so you can,
and the Detox
if you want to
page
get one,
too.
and it'll be on our Detox page as well. But this is an interior light that you've developed, you've been using in your shop. It's one you made for yourself, for your...
Yeah. We basically just never had enough light inside the car to detail it properly. And so we bought every one that was out there, all the different brands. Most of them are under hood lights that you kind of rehash and whatever to make them fit. All of them had features that I didn't like. They had something I really liked and then other things I didn't. So I finally put this thing together to have enough light. That was the first thing, just the volume of light. How do we get enough light in?
Yeah, because that was my issue too, to the point that at Hawks all the guys now have scan grip headlamps that they use because we just couldn't get enough. Couldn't get enough light in the vehicle, even with the overhead underhood lights.
Well, with the overhead and those headlamps, those aren't a bad way to go either. My employees just sometimes won't wear them or don't like them or whatever.
I look dumb.
Gets too hot, something like that. So, but actually, my manager Jake, he's my bread and butter. He wears it all the time, the little headlamp. But this thing, to put out enough light, those LED lights, at least the ones on the market now, are so directional in their light, right? I mean, they'll
and it is.
They'll give you a sunburn in one little strip, right? But to light up the whole thing. So this thing broadcasts it more. And then it's also small enough, though, that it mounts up out of the way and you don't hit your head on it.
Right.
Some of them are right there.
Yeah.
It's not going to damage the car with metal hooks or anything like that. It's short enough to go in a car, so those underhood lights, like I mentioned before,
some of them
too long.
Some are too long or too
wide.
short. Yeah, too wide and they can't fit.
You can shut the doors with this thing, so if you ever have to pull a car outside in the rain or just let it sit for whatever time.
It's actually a big point because there's a lot of them that are out there where you can't do that.
You can't shut the door.
Yeah.
Or if you accidentally do, you're breaking a window or denting the frame or something like that.
Or breaking your light.
Yeah, I should say you can shut the door. You're just really going to regret it.
Yeah, it's going to cost you. And it's got safety. Notice the tubes have
the safety covers.
UV covers on it. Yeah. And I have actually, if you guys have never met Ryan Hendricks with Finishing Touch up in Staten, kind of an up and coming detailer.
I know Ryan.
Yeah, super guy. He helped me with that aspect of it right there.
Cool.
When we were first developing it, so I got a shout out to Ryan. He does really good. So, but it's a tool I can. It takes a while to install. It'll take you a minute to install it. So it's not going to be for everybody. If you're a hobbyist and you're a production detailer that does 30 cars a day, it's going to bog you down a little bit. But for shops like ours that are kind of high end, you're spending 4 to 6 hours on a car and you need that light. To me, what it ultimately came down to was when we used the light, then when we pulled the car out, we had 100% confidence that when in the hot sun, I could open up that door and show that customer the car.
Right.
And that wasn't like oh
no
my God,
surprises.
What happened here? Or when it's dark, again, I keep going back to this, but Portland really is different. A lot of times, people are picking up their cars at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It's dark because it's cloudy, and that's just the way it is, or raining. And so they may not be able to get to see the inside until later.
Right.
They look in, they go, oh, it's great. But if you miss something, they will find it a few days later because when the sun finally comes out, all us Portlandites, we all flock to our cars and look at them. This eliminated all of that. No more comebacks.
And I used to have that a lot in my shop where you'd have a guy that would detail it, look great, and then they'd pull it out in the sun and you'd start moving the seats and you're like, dude, what happened here? Like, you had a headlamp on, you had an overhead light. We've got plenty of light in the shop.
That's right.
I had a headlamp, I just didn't look the right direction.
Yeah, and that was a lot of it.
That's what you do.
Switch. And so I took this into the shop and Matt used it this week and played with it, and that was one of the first things he noticed once we set it up and turned it on was he was like, oh, there's a lot of light in here. This is nice.
It's actually, this, so if you got the lumens, it's over 7,000. It's like 7,200 lumens.
Yeah.
That's healthy.
So other people, look at all those LED ones and see how much they put out.
Yeah.
It'll be in the hundreds.
Yep.
Okay. This dude, I mean, it lights up.
Yep.
So,
well, then you're not running out the dome light in a car either. I mean, it's always annoying when the battery dies.
Well, so right? Turn off, but
yeah.
So a bigger problem.
So your car won't start.
But it's definitely a great product. It's got great features on it. And like I said, I like that it's got suction cups on one side so you can...
That is a nice
So
little-
it mounts the
yeah.
strap
Yeah.
at least, so you can set it
Yeah.
on one side and then you pull it through the other side of the...
Yeah, so it sets up quickest with 2 people, but obviously that's not always the case. So we've designed the strap as such that it has these little cups. When you buy one, you'll see what I mean. And there's instructions on the back, so it's pretty self-explanatory. The very first time you do it, you may go, well, this is a little awkward. But like anything else, like any tool, just like I talked about when I picked up a DA or my first foam pad, I'm like, well, this is silly.
Yeah.
Well, this is kind of the same way. Once you use it a few times, it'll become second nature to you.
Yeah.
So
You figure it out, you get used to it.
yeah.
Yep.
So how you buy it, because it's the only product I manufacture, I didn't get my own website yet, but Amazon and eBay both carry it. And it's just called the Car Interior Work Light. In fact, would you
Flip that over there.
tell me what
Yeah.
you think about the logo? Flip that thing over.
There we go.
I didn't design that, but we tried to make something that looked like something lighting it up.
He definitely gets the point across.
But yeah.
For the
So
people that can't see, you got the image of a car, a side shot, a
Silhouette.
side profile silhouette of a car.
We'll take
But
pictures
then-
of all this too.
But then, so then what you have, you're looking at the side of a car, and then you kind of have where the doors would be are cut out, and then at the very top, right where in the middle of the roof, you see where the light is,
Yep.
and kind of where it's displaying the rays of light throughout the rest of the interior.
Yeah.
black and white. My guy that was designing it was making it fancy in color. I said, no, make it simple.
You want something that'll translate easily.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can print on any medium.
So, but the name too. You notice the name is really fancy. I mean,
Oh,
car
Car
interior
Interior
work
well, you took
light.
the optimum method of naming
That's
products.
exactly what I said. I'm like, I know just enough about SEO to say, don't name it something real crazy.
Yeah.
Just because, to be honest, when I was looking for one, I kept typing in things like that.
Yeah.
Work light, interior work light, detailing light. Oh, that's another thing, detailing light.
Yeah.
This, is designed by a car detailer, to be used by car detailers. Now, we've actually sold more of them to car stereo shops
No.
That is
because they're in
yeah.
there doing that all the time.
like tint
Yeah,
shops
they're
and
working on
stuff,
it,
yeah,
right?
They're working
yeah.
on the
So
interior.
they like that, and then also a couple of classic car restoration.
Yeah.
Where they're in there all the time, but it's made for us, by us, and so I just thought car interior work light. It's not called anything fancy. It's trademarked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you go on Amazon or eBay and type that in, you'll find it.
Do like-
Eventually, maybe someday I'll do a website, but
Doing like car upholstery, stuff like that. Anything like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
anything
Yeah,
inside. So,
that's awesome.
but yeah, thanks for the plug, guys. Appreciate it.
No,
Yeah, you
we
bet.
appreciate
So,
it.
yeah.
Well,
all right.
Jason, thank you for coming on. Thank you for hanging out with
You're
us.
very welcome.
Thank you for being
Thanks for
here.
treating me like a star here, like I know something.
Well, you're our very
Maybe like-
first detox
like-
guest on the new
Yeah,
podcast,
yeah.
so we got to do it right.
That's
Yeah.
right. And we were trying to get our studio built. We just got foam today.
Yeah, you'll be
So-
seeing the studio relatively soon, but the foam just came in for the walls.
Literally like an hour before Jason showed up, so we're like, oh man, we couldn't get to So he's doing this in the conference room with us, but this has carpeted walls, so it's actually just as good.
Yeah.
That foam, by the way, for the sound deadening, we also do sound deadening in cars.
Yeah.
To quiet them down. Just bought a new Scion for my wife, and it's a beautiful car, but as loud as can be.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I kind of like. That's why I was checking out that foam. Maybe I'll
Yeah,
put
there's a
that-
little egg crate.
I'll put that in
Oh,
the
yeah.
We
door
put it in our.
panels of my car. Or
It's the
something.
background of our studio too.
Yeah,
Out
yeah, it's
down
the
there.
entire that
Oh
black
yeah, yeah,
wall.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
all
for your
just
studio.
you buy them off Amazon and the bales.
Yeah.
See, that
yeah.
studio's impressive.
We got
That's
the
impressive.
2-inch foam though. The 2-inch foam does a much better job than the 1-inch.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
yeah,
the thickness
that makes
of
a
it?
difference.
Yeah,
So yeah, the price is a little bit more, but it's still affordable stuff. It's
Yeah.
it's
well, like
simple,
anything else, if it's a tool you're
but
going
it
to be
looks
using.
good.
Yeah.
Well, and,
Yeah.
and for that, it helps when we're talking. It helps absorb any of the reverb or echoes from the work. From if anybody's in the warehouse
And our
working.
neighbors are a gym.
Yeah, it's a gymnastic studio next door, and they like to bump. Yeah, so
yeah,
we
you
hear
got
that
that
So
going on.
could I use that to line? I have a air compressor that's in like a room off to the
Sure,
side,
you could.
and just put it in the walls, and it may quiet that down.
You could. I took. I just did insulation, like garage insulation in
Like
my
rigid foam insulation.
kind of, but it was a roll
Oh.
of foam insulation.
just
I
line
think
your
if you combine those,
compressor.
it would definitely
So I
cut
lined-
down on it.
I lined the
Make a
shed that the
difference.
Okay.
compressor was in with that,
You know what's
and
special?
then I
though?
added some thicker panels of foam insulation.
Okay.
That's
Actual
true.
foam, like garage door panel insulation.
That compressor gets loud. I bought an awesome one. It's huge. It'll just power the world, right?
And it sounds like it.
But it comes right through the office. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's,
So
They make corner foam, same kind of foam and stuff, but it's for corners in the room. And we actually got that for the studio as well. So yeah, you'll be able to actually put it up and down the corners. And once again, they all come in like different size bundles you can get, but it does make a difference. So do a little sound design.
And where'd you get that?
Amazon.
It's Amazon.
Simple.
Oh,
yeah.
Shocking. Yeah.
Yeah. No, you just say acoustic tile foam, and you'll find it.
Yeah.
All right, well, we kind of went off the rails here, guys, but you know what? That's okay. That's just the nature of Detox.
So we want to thank Jason for coming on.
Yes, thank you, Jason.
You can find Jason Barker on Facebook. You can find Fresh Start Detail Company on Facebook as well.
And if you're
like
in
their page, and if you're
PDX Portland area,
check out Jason's shop. You can get the work light on Amazon and eBay under car interior work light.
simple enough.
And very easy. And so make sure that you download this podcast, you like it, you leave us a review. That really helps us on iTunes, and we appreciate it. And Anthony?
Yep.
You want to say thanks?
He's on his phone.
You want to say anything?
Thank you. Sorry, I'm just doing Instagram stuff, guys. You know, killing the game.
Get work done.
Just go ahead and give us a review. It means, or it helps us, gets us up there in the search
Make sure you
engine,
like
so.
Fresh Start Detailing Company too.
Yep.
Thank you.
Give them a like.
And for the podcast, if you're listening on iTunes, excellent. But for those who have an Android or whatever, they don't have access to iTunes, we're available on shoutengine.com. Just look up the Rag Company podcast. That's where you'll find it.
Shoutengine.com.
Shoutengine.com.
I need a new for my droid.
Super easy.
Okay.
That's the way to do it.
Okay,
And you
cool.
can download them direct. So anyway, guys, you have a good one, and we will catch you in the next one. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Thanks.
See ya.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Oh.